The government is going to show up and carry the banner
Yeah.
to protect the drivers. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
The government is showing up pretending to care about the drivers because they want the taxation.
Yeah.
They're missing out on that income.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Newsroom. I am your host, Neil Winterregg, joined as always by Dr. Craig Winterregg, CEO of Matterhorn Business Development. We are here today to do a rant about California.
No.
Yes.
There's nothing to rant about with California.
Well, we're going to make something up.
I wish they all could be California.
Oh, definitely. So does California. So we're here in Florida. We have it pretty easy in Florida. I like Florida.
Florida's awesome, really.
Let's talk about California briefly.
Because we've been to California a lot.
Yep, my wife.
Lots of business.
My wife is from California, Northern California. People in Northern California do not like to be referred to as being from California. Yes, anything from San Francisco down, they don't want anything to do with because it's a completely different world.
They want to be recognized as their own country.
Yes, the farmers of Northern California, my people. So what we're talking about today, though, is so earlier this year there was a bill called AB5, also known as the Gig Work Bill for California.
Okay, and gig means?
Gig economy is what the new thing is, you know, freelancing, Uber drivers, people working on, you know, websites where you individually hire people. You're not part of a corporation or a business, but you
can hire somebody by the project.
Yeah, hire somebody by the project, work for yourself, all that type of stuff. Yeah. So these people bought into the idea that they needed stability and they needed benefits and they needed all this other stuff. And so what California did is they attacked Uber and Lyft very heavily. And they made everybody aware of how bad Uber and Lyft are and how the Uber drivers are actually employees of Uber, which they aren't, and all this type of stuff. So everybody passes this bill. Okay. Including journalists in the state were all over everybody. And now, if you were against AB5, the journalists in the state of California just shat all over you.
You. Now AB5 says what?
Okay, so I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I'm not a bill expert, and you guys can know, but here's some of the key points. Yeah. Okay. Anybody that is labeled as an independent contractor right now has to fit certain categories, which they have completely tightened. And if they do not fit the independent contractor label, then they have to be made into a full-time employee for that company.
A W-2 employee.
Yes. By doing that, that increased the cost of the business by 30%.
Because now there's taxes, benefits, health, all of a sudden.
California wants their piece of the gig economy. And that's what's really pissing them off, is that they're not getting, all the internet has done is it's created loopholes and opportunities for people without having to show up to a 9-to-5 job. And California's not getting enough of that action.
They're not getting their state tax and everything else they lop on.
Right, so they did this. This increases costs of the business by 30%, which is not good. Now, what ended up happening in all this is that there's an article that I will link down below that really kind of goes into it, but here's where it gets pretty funny. So freelancers thought that this was actually, freelance writers thought that this was actually going to help them somehow. I don't know the whole story. But now I found an article of freelancers freaking out because whoever wrote the bill slipped some language in there that the freelancers didn't know. And now these freelance journalists are capped at writing 35 articles per year per employer.
So if I'm writing for Popular
Magazine,
Popular Mechanics.
You're the only writer.
They would put all 35 articles in one issue, and that would be the whole issue, and then I'm done for the year.
You're done,
unless I become a W-2 employee, and then they have to pay all the taxes and benefits back to
But as a freelance writer particularly, I can understand the benefit of working and writing for multiple platforms. If you have a weekly article with 2 or 3 platforms now, those are gone. You can't do that anymore. So the freelancers particularly are freaking out. Just to give you an idea, one freelance journalist in this article, there's a copy of his tweet. He says, "It doesn't matter what profession it's aimed at, the effects will be devastating for freelance writers in California, and you should listen to them instead of ruining their livelihoods." Wow. So this writer is saying, stop attacking everybody because this is going to screw us, right? And that is from, it's called searchenginejournal.com. That'll be below. It actually talks about how they got screwed over. It's pretty interesting. But then another interesting point was that on LinkedIn, when I found this article, a founder and partner at a company called Amplitude Digital. His name is Duff Ferguson. It listed in LinkedIn his tweet. There's some sort of a digital advertising. I don't know exactly. But he says, as a California service agency, we converted all our workers to employees a year ago, but it wasn't easy and has driven up costs quite a bit and slowed hiring in LA. Sadly, in the future, it definitely makes us inclined to look outside California for workers as we scale rapidly. Content writers for SEO are just one example of where the law is hurting individuals. So like I said, I'm not an expert of this bill, but I think anything that penalizes the individual worker and penalizes the company at the same time is destined for failure.
Well, but let's call this for what it is. This was originally couched as an attack on the big corporations, Uber and Lyft, because they're screwing the drivers. And so then the government is going to show up and carry the banner to protect the drivers. That is bullshit. The government is showing up pretending to care about the drivers because they want the taxation. They're missing out on that income.
That's right.
Because if they become all of a sudden W-2 employers, now there's more tax money and California's bankrupt.
Yes.
So this is just another
California's
money
the
grab.
highest taxes everywhere, the stupidest taxes everywhere. Gas is at least $4.50, $5 a gallon. You go across the state line into Nevada, it's $1.50 cheaper.
You know, I think, I just realized something. The executives who run Uber were trained by the politicians in California because nobody's making a profit. They've got all of this money and they can't hang on to any of it.
Well, this is the other thing that cracks me up.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's totally correct. Because we just did another Uber video where we made fun of them. So we're beating up on these guys.
They deserve it.
Let's just be honest. So governments have nobody to answer to.
Right.
Governments don't answer to anybody.
Well, they're supposed to answer to the people.
Right, but, okay, whatever. That was a bazillion years ago. So governments don't answer to anybody.
Right.
They just burn and waste money, and they don't actually have a product that they exchange back to the people. Right.
Yeah.
And if it is exchanged back through the people through the government, it's guaranteed to be crap because it's done on a basis of time that is government time. It's just its own time. You and I could get something done in a couple of days. That takes them a year to figure out.
Let's talk
They're
about
going to spend $100 million to research something to find out that it's not actually a problem, but we just wasted all these $1 million. But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
This cracks me up is everybody's like, let's get gambling legalized, right? Everybody's so excited. All these sports fans are so excited.
Right.
I finally want to be able to gamble, and states are like, yeah, let's get this legalized.
That's right.
If they want it legalized, it's because they're going to screw you.
That's right.
Because this is the only way that they can make money is through taxing. It's not through actually providing a service like a normal business.
Well, look at the United States Postal Service, not to just go too far off.
They have a monopoly and they can't make any money.
No competition and they can't turn a profit. And if they did their job, Federal Express would have never been started.
Yeah.
But because they didn't do their job, because they can't do their job, and because we just get taxed, I mean, the postage stamp is just a tax.
Yeah.
So we get taxed more and more and more because they can't do their job. I mean, you can't put the government in charge of anything. And I just want to say this again. Whenever the government says they're going to help you, the knife is going to be in your back very fast.
In a lot of cases, yeah.
Yeah, you start carrying the banner for that, it's going to fall apart.
A bill like this, something like this, that's going to change that employment factor. Yeah. And here's the thing, this cracks me up too, is that California doesn't realize who they're there to protect because they're ripping off the people that they're supposed to protect.
Right.
It's kind of like when we talked about Yelp. Yelp was there to provide a service of, reviews. And then it became this, marketing megalomania. And the people that they are supposed to protect the most is the business owners. Right. And those are the people that they screw the most.
Yeah.
Which means there's going to be a revolt at some point and it's all going to come toppling down, right? This is the same thing in California.
It'll be interesting to see where it's going. California just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody lives there. Really. And the people doing these jobs now, they're just going to move.
Yeah.
I mean, Toyota just moved their national headquarters to Dallas.
So. Yeah. Everybody thinks that LA, it's all about LA and Silicon Valley, but that's just such a small part of what California actually is.
Yeah.
And they're forgetting about who's actually there. I'm with you, the farmers and all the people up north that I know. But yeah, this is stupid.
And whenever the government says they're going to help you, look.
Well, when the government is doing things to make people do work, like less work, this is penalizing people who work for themselves and who support themselves. And it's like, no, you can't do that. You have to be part of a corporation. Right. And then they turn around and they attack the corporations.
Right.
Like, what are you?
So they'll just leave.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. That's why places like Texas, who offer like, tax-free for the first 2 years that you move your company from another state in, all that kind of stuff.
No state income tax?
No state income taxes for like 2 years. Like, go Texas, go Florida, get out of these big places, and eventually they'll wake up. Yeah. But it's pretty sad. So,
I think that's a good rant.
I think it's a good rant. Anyway, I don't know how it applies to your business, but don't fall for this crap, all right? And leave us a thumbs up, give a comment down below. Like I said, I'm not an AB5 specialist, but my BS meter just goes off the charts when I start reading about it. So, anyway, we'll see you next week, all right? Take care.